So you want to buy a metal lathe. You want to try to get one of these and get it affordably. Well, there's three types of people that buy metal lathes. Small ones like these. People that have done it all their life. They went to school or they learned on the job or both. And they perfected their craft and they became very adept at using a real metal lathe. Now, I'm not saying this isn't a real metal lathe, but it's a benchtop hobbyist lathe. The second kind of people are the ones that need to make parts for various things. That's the group I'm in, because I recondition and restore and refurbish old machines. Metal lathes, wood lathes, table saws, band saws, drill presses, and the like. And quite often, for some of the things that I get, you just can't buy the parts anymore, so you got to make them. And a metal lathe is handy to have for that. The third type is the hobbyist. He or she has never used a metal lathe, but they think it would be an interesting hobby. And it is, but be prepared. Now, I'm not trying to discourage you, but it is a money pit. Let's go over some of the things you absolutely need to get when you're going to buy a metal lathe. The first thing, of course, is the lathe. I would suggest you stay away from eBay. Just personal experience. Go with Amazon, go with Little Machine Shop, something like that. Harbor Freight, yeah, you can go with them. Their little red 7x10 lathe is certainly not the worst thing to have. I can think of worse things. But you'll soon outgrow it. In fact, you'll probably outgrow even a 8x14 or 8x16. But if you're just starting out as a hobbyist, stay away from eBay. Yes, there are some respectable sellers on there, but they're getting harder and harder to find. Lathes can run you anywhere from about $550 to, well over $1,000. This one was listed for $700. After I got it, I had to talk the seller down. So I wound up paying about $550 for this. And it's a good lathe. I've done some modifications to it, and with most of these Chinese mini lathes, you are going to be what I would call completing what the factory just let slip by. The next thing you're going to need right away is a drill chuck, 1/2 or 5/8 inch. The lathe is going to come with a dead center, but you can't drill anything with a dead center, and your handheld electric drill is not going to cut it. Speaking of which, a live center is a good thing to get. So there you're talking, anywhere from $30 to $50. For the drill chuck, you can run over to Harbor Freight and pick it up for $20, $25. You're going to need some self-centering spotting drills. They're called all sorts of things. I kind of call them self-centering drills. They're for starting drilling something. If you don't want to get a chuck, if you don't want to tie up your chuck, you can make yourself a little MT2 taper that holds a center drill. Pretty simple little device to have. It's got a set screw in it. Good little project, good thing to have. For the headstock, which is usually MT3 on these machines, you need an adapter to be able to fit the MT2 into. So you can use it in conjunction with a lathe dog. Again, you can make your own lathe dog, like I did, or you can buy them. The key word is buy. Spend money, spend money, spend money. The next thing you're maybe going to be talked into buying or convinced on YouTube that it's a good idea. This is your standard tool holder that comes with the lathe. It does a good job. It's very stable, it's very heavy, very sturdy, very rigid. But you're going to be convinced you have to speed up the process, even though it's just a hobby. You have to save time. So you're going to get yourself a quick change tool post with the tool holders. There you're talking $30 for a really cheap one, all the way up to $200 for the good ones. If you have an older lathe, if you did pick up an older lathe, like an Atlas or a South Bend, it's probably going to come with something like this, which is called a lamppost tool holder. Again, that you're definitely going to want to switch over. I mean, it's usable, but it's going to take time for setup. You're going to want cutting oil right away. I would suggest you buy it in bulk. This is 32 fluid ounces, or you can buy a gallon. It's not really terribly expensive. It can run you 25, 30 bucks for a gallon. You're going to want to make an oil pot. This, I just took an old air freshener can for a car, drilled it out, and there's my little oil pot. You're going to want to get some squares. These are essential. You have to get these right away. You're going to need them for layout. And a center finder. Now you can make your own center finder. Those are relatively easy to make. But the little squares, it's going to cost you anywhere from $5 at Menards up to probably 25, 30 bucks or more, depending on the brand. You're going to definitely want safety glasses, but that's cheap. So basically, if you're looking at a lathe and you say, well, it's only going to cost me $550. No, to start out, you're going to be looking at more like $750 because you're going to want some basic things. Another basic thing you're going to want is a caliper. Now, you can go with an electronic one like this at Harbor Freight for, 15, 20, 25 bucks, depending on how they throw it for sale. You're also going to want a decent ruler, scale. These are not terribly expensive. I inherited this one. But again, you're going to be spending a little money on that. You can go with the old-fashioned ones, but who wants to do that, right? Some of the other items, you're going to want to get your bearings right away because the ball bearings just aren't going to cut it, according to everyone on YouTube. Good idea to buy them because you don't know when yours are going to go bad. It could take 6 months, it could take 6 years. Have them handy. These happen to be angular contact bearings that are sealed. A lot of people say go with tapered roller bearings, which are not sealed, so you have to find a way of lubricating them. Either taking the headstock half apart to get at them, or coming up with some kind of oil drip or something. I would suggest you get sealed angular contact bearings. It's going to save you a lot of grief, a lot of time. You can get a boring head for doing tapers, or you can move your headstock. I would suggest a boring taper, or a boring head, excuse me. Cutters. You can start out with high-speed steel. You can buy 6-inch pieces, 1/4 inch, 3/8, 5/16, 1/2 inch, 7/16, whatever. You can cut it with a angle grinder to whatever length you need, and you can make your own cutters, any shape you want. You will be tempted to go with carbide indexable inserts. You can either make your own holders for the inserts, or you can buy them. They can get expensive. You're going to want to make one of these. This helps you line things up on the lathe. I just made one. You can put it in like that, put it in like that, however you want. I guess this would be the normal way to put it in. It just helps line things up in the chuck. You would mount that in your holder, press it against the part until it runs true. You're going to want to either buy or make a little tool to shave off burrs while you're working on stuff. You're going to want files. Lots and lots and lots of nice sharp files. You're going to want to forge a chuck eventually. Figure about $100. The 3-jaw is okay. Another option is a collet chuck. Depending on how well centered your spindle is, these can be very accurate. But then you'll have to buy collets. So you can figure, between $100 and $150 for a good set. Some of the other tools you're going to eventually want are micrometers, either the old manual ones or the electronic ones. This is not an electronic one. That's just a very plain old general number 102 micrometer. I got that, and then I inherited a couple others. You're going to want to get dial indicators. Lots of different dial indicators, and the holder for the dial indicator, a magnetic holder. Other things you might want is inside gauges, internal gauges, inside diameter gauges, whatever you want to call them. Again, you can buy a lot of this stuff from China, but even from China, this is going to be a money pit. You're going to be spending lots and lots and lots of money. And you don't have to spend it right away. Like I said, if you go with your drill chuck, high-speed steel blanks, some inexpensive calipers, cutting oil, safety glasses, sandpaper, Scotch-Brite, chip brush, layout fluid. You can use a magic marker for a layout fluid temporarily. Those are the basic things you need. So your $550 lathe is going to be running you about $750, and your $1,000 lathe, let's say $1,000, that's going to run you about $1,200, $1,300, $1,400. These things are all going to pick up over time. Don't be too concerned about getting everything right away, unless you're a tool nut like me. I kind of figure the one with the most tools wins when he dies. There's other people that lately have been saying, you will own nothing and you will like it. We won't talk about those people. So, good luck in your venture. I'm not trying to discourage you from buying a metal lathe. It's a great hobby. It's good to know some of these skills that someday may be forgotten because of CNC, computers. But go ahead, get one. It's worth it. It's worth the trip. 10 years from now, you'll have a whole bunch of stuff like I do. And then, when you're finally satisfied with that, you're going to get one of these. That's a whole different story. Y'all have a good day.